teaching you the art of industrial real estate. This is On Air with Team Jensen.
All right. Hello, listeners. Welcome to episode 11 of On Air with Team Jensen. This is our holiday episode. We are excited to get you on here and just kind of talk about our year we've had and just talk about where things are headed in Kansas City and where our podcast is headed. And also just kind of wanted to look back at the beginning of things. And it's kind of crazy now that we're almost a dozen episodes into the podcast world, and we've had fun, and we appreciate all the support we've gotten and all the likes, all the...
We're up to like 6
followers. Yeah, I think we have 6 followers now. That's like, there's a ton of people listening out there. But no, and I was watching New Heights last night, and just like really, it's crazy that we have the top 2 podcasts in Kansas City.
Were they talking about Team Jensen?
Yeah. But so, no, I wanted to just kind of rehash the year and wish everyone a happy holiday. But we haven't had just Team Jensen on since our first episode, and so I thought it would be fun to get back together and really just kind of talk about where things are headed in Kansas City, like I said. And it's been a slower year from a transaction standpoint. I think everyone kind of understands that with just the way rates have been headed for really the last 12 months plus now. But outside of that, there's still been healthy activity. The industrial market still, we feel, in a good place. There's certainly a lot more opportunity out there for tenants and buyers, but we don't think it's necessarily what's the terminology for it? We don't think there's going to be a fire sale or anything like that coming up soon. So we still think values are holding on, and we just don't. The next 12 months, it's a little uncertain, I would say, where things are headed. But I would say, as long as the demand remains where it is, which we feel good about, we're going to still have a strong 2024. But outside of that, is there any other highlight you guys want to talk about? Or
just to delve a little deeper into what you're saying, our industry is a long lead time industry. Things we're working on now are things that will come to fruition and be productive and profitable
3 to 5 years.
Well, end of 24,
right?
Early 25, into 26. So it's a constant process where you're always filling the pipeline, as you guys know, and 23 has not been as good a year, but a lot of 23 was completing things that were going on in 21 and 22.
Right.
So. You really don't know. The nature of our business is such that you're never really current. You're always kind of working ahead or behind. And I think to your point, the pipeline for 24 isn't as full as we'd like it to be, and we've got to continue to work on opportunities and pursue the new listings we're talking to people about. But it is that it's I've said it before, it's almost anticlimactic by the time a deal comes to fruition. You've worked on it, you've celebrated it, you got it signed, and everybody was fired up about it, and then 6 months later you end up seeing revenue from it, and it is sometimes almost anticlimactic just because it happened so long ago.
Yeah,
but,
right.
Well, I've gotten that sense too, even from a prospecting standpoint. There's almost some education that you have, or that you've got to teach the prospect. Like, hey, it's very typical for us to work with a client for 12 to 24 months. To find what's right for them, what's Absolutely. The best fit, how to evaluate your business decision, the ever changing, economic climate, all that stuff plays into the duration of the sales cycle, and that's what. I think when you're prospecting, sometimes people are a little guarded and they think you want something out of them real quick. And it's like, no, that's not necessarily what we're after.
Yeah, that's one of the things it's kind of tougher to explain sometimes to some of our younger clients or friends that we're working with, where it's like they almost feel bad. They're like, no, it's like, look, this isn't. I don't expect you to buy a building within 6 months of working with me.
And those who do, it's unusual.
Right.
Those are more the outlier.
Or you get a lot of those that are in the early stages of things. You get a lot of, well, I don't want to waste your time. It's like, I promise I will tell you when you're wasting my time, or
And we make revenue through transactions, but we're really not transaction driven. We're really relationship driven. We're really more in it for the long haul. We want to be our clients' real estate expert. We want to be able to advise them on when they're looking for opportunities or trying to fill needs. And yes, when a transaction is consummated, we often receive compensation, but that's not the driving force, and it can't be if you want people to be comfortable working with you and continue to want to work with you.
Right. Well, that's been one of my one of the things I've enjoyed most in my more recent years working is I've been fortunate enough, I've been able to pivot, and obviously you still want to be, you still need to pay the bills and you still want to generate good income, and you're not going to necessarily turn your nose up at opportunities to be a part of a deal, but at the same time, I focus more on being able to work with like-minded people and clients that are more enjoyable and fun to work with, and it really makes all the difference.
Isn't that kind of hard if you're just only working with people who come in at like 11 and go home at like 3?
Like-minded is key. He's prospecting at Woodside too, so it's all part of it.
There's productivity at all hours of the day, at all places. Okay.
And it can even happen at the office.
Yeah, sometimes.
Occasionally it does. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes.
I had to work that in. But all right.
Yeah. They're going to just light me on fire. I do have a strong work ethic for the listeners out there.
But you were saying you like working with like-minded people.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. It's just, it makes the whole process more fun, and
you're at a point where you can shift your focus from taking anything you can get to like,
right.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Right.
Well, and it's not like I'm not, I still am going to take every opportunity I can.
Yeah,
but,
I get that.
But people like to work with people they like.
Right.
People like to work with people who they have commonalities with.
And I think as you get older further into your career, maybe it's you start to get a little older and grumpier too in general. Me, like I'm saying myself, but I think that because it's like I want to work with people I enjoy working with. I don't want to, and when you have a little bit more power.
And who enjoy working with you and appreciate what you do.
Exactly. Right. And that's the best part of the job is when you really help someone make a big decision.
And that's what I like about the development side. It is a longer life cycle to get from start to finish, but most times when you're working in the development world, you really build a rapport and a relationship with people, and it is much more of you're part of the team. You're the consultant, the confidant, and they really look to you that way. They're not always kind of sitting back, wanting you to prove your worth.
Right. No, I mean that was one of the fun parts. The Cargo Largo project had plenty of challenges, but having that pretty wrapped up now, and they're operating fully, and they've had their grand opening, and
that was the big ribbon cutting this year.
It's pretty awesome, just because we've created a close family relationship with them, and it's awesome just seeing how excited they are, and I run into friends of friends with them, and everyone's talking about how awesome it is, and it's just, and it all comes to fruition for them. It's cool being a part of that, and I don't know, it's just fun when it hits a little closer to home.
Obviously, a long-term dream of Dee's, and something that you guys had discussed for over a decade, and
even
almost
I remember
two.
Right.
Even I sat in on a meeting like that, or for that project, like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
No, we go all the way back to 2007. We were talking about his desires, and
It's crazy.
There was lots of impediments, and he really stuck with it, and finally got it there.
Through two different very challenging times in 2008 and 2020 too, that could have potentially just derailed it completely.
And we're going to have him on. He wants to. I was talking to him the other day, and I had the idea, and he thought it might be a good one, is that we set up this, we do this and set up in the store.
That'd be cool.
That'd be fun.
in his retail store.
Like when people are walking around.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of
and have him on, and we talk about it. And,
Yeah.
you know,
These guys might have their work cut out for them with all the extra noise in the background, but
I'm sure they can figure that out.
they're the pros
seems
though.
great.
So.
If it was easy, everybody'd be doing
That's
it.
right. That's right. Touche. Yeah, that would be cool though. That would certainly set the vibe for having Dion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do that. Try and do it in January sometime.
Well, and with 2024 around the corner, growing up every year, you would make us write goals. So, are there any goals for 2024 we want to talk about with Team Jensen? Anything that comes to mind, personal or work?
Well, a couple things. We hear an awful lot about AI. The conversation came up with U.S. Engineering again. We're trying to have some meetings and figure out the right way to try and harness and make use of AI. I really think that it is a game changer and a field leveler.
Yeah.
Because I think we can do and accomplish some things with AI that some of these large firms employ a lot of manpower doing.
Right.
And so my hope would be to really try and figure out the best way to incorporate that in to what Kessinger Hunter does and how we do it.
Yeah. To that end, I mean, there's certainly, I know for sure there's tools like that I'm not regularly using that could streamline or benefit, my day to day. And I think one of mine, early in my real estate career, is just to try and be a little bit more regimented in my week to week, and have a little bit more of a plan of action. I mean, obviously, just like any profession, you get pulled in a lot of directions, and you get focused on the task at hand or the deal you're working on in that instance. But it's important to have some regularity too in every given week. So that's going to be one of my bigger goals, is to be out one day a week out amongst the industrial pockets and all that kind of stuff, and have a little bit more of a
pulse.
Yeah, well, and just a procedure throughout each of my weeks.
Like a work routine a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, it's not uncommon. You spend time out knocking on doors and cold calling and following up with prospects, and you get busy and dealing with the issues that you're able to generate. And then all of a sudden you look up and you're busy dealing with business, and not busy, as we say, continuing to fill the pipeline. And that's just a process that you got to get better at and streamline. And I would say, again, like I preached to you guys for years, I mean, every week sitting down, I know everybody's going digital, everybody's going laptop and contact database stuff, but I still use a day timer just to sit down. I think it's positive to write things out for what I'm trying to accomplish for the week, and I would encourage you to do it every Sunday night or Sunday afternoon.
Well, yeah, and we're so glued to our phones and our devices these days that if you do just take digital notes and stuff, sometimes that gets lost in all the other digital activity that you're doing. So, I mean, it's been proven that writing things down helps it keep front of mind,
Right. And I do both. I mean, as you guys know, I use my digital stuff too.
There's a balance to it. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the day-to-day notes and kind of chasing things. It's nice to have a book where you keep it all.
But again, it sounded like the old fart, because I am. But the day timer, at least it's something that you carry with you. A notepad is great, but notepads disappear, and I set them down and I forget where I put them.
We know you want us to get an actual day timer
Yes.
and not use these.
I am on record. Get yourself a day timer.
For the 15.
I haven't had a planner since high school, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you used that one real well.
All right, come on.
No, I think that's a great goal. I think I have a similar goal. It's hard to, with the pandemic, it kind of blew up my routine with work, and I would say I found a new way to find that productivity without necessarily being an 8 to 5 kind of on a daily basis person, but
No
at
argument
the same
here.
yeah, at the same time, I think there's value to having that routine. I think it just having a system in place just makes it easier to stay focused.
I was always somebody that benefited from that kind of structure too. You
Yeah.
know, I was never the online classes type guy. I just
Nor was I. I think I could do a lot better at it today, but I wasn't mature
Right.
enough to do it when I was in school.
Yeah.
The other thing is the 9 to 5, 8 to 5, all kidding aside, there are some things that happen just by virtue of being around each other.
Yeah.
Communication and interaction and ideas trading amongst the other industrial brokers.
Well, and you can't have a. It's hard to establish a company culture too when everyone's sitting behind a computer screen at their house. I mean, that's just impossible.
No, that's absolutely
so
right.
I mean,
But it needs to be a balance because I do think, Kurt said, kind of knowing the pulse. I think it's important as brokers that we do know the pulse of what's going on in the neighborhoods and the communities that we're active in, because that is where our knowledge base is coming from.
right.
Yeah. And the other goal I kind of always have that I started doing a while ago is I try and do like 52 new people a year that I meet. It's like it doesn't even have to be necessarily a great like a industrial prospect. It can just be simply networking. So I'm excited. I always just kind of like that in January. I find January to be pretty refreshing and kind of invigorating month, and just I always get excited for the new year when it comes to out knocking around. So excited for that, to kind of get that wind behind the sails. But outside of that, though, I mean, we could jump around a little bit back to the market. The one thing I think that's kind of interesting we could talk about that I think some people are probably seeing is there is a lot more sublease opportunity on the market.
Definitely.
And I was kind of thinking about it the other day. I don't think we're in a fire sale, and I don't think 2024 is going to lead to that. But I do think we are going to see a situation where there's such a significant amount of sublease space on the market that if you're someone that truly is trying to sublease your space today, I think it'd be wise to be in a more aggressive deal maker and beat the influx that we're seeing of some sublease space out there.
Absolutely.
Like when you say like your willingness to take 75 cents on the dollar. Or
Yeah.
Like,
That's exactly what I mean. Yeah.
Right,
So,
right.
because I think I'm seeing a lot of, the thing that surprised me about subleases, and a lot of them it's not all negative. A lot of them are groups that are growing their operation and moving to a larger facility, and because they have a good opportunity with this new space available.
Right.
And so they're eating the cost and they're just going to sublease it. But then you see some of these premium rates on there where I'm sure some of their brokers were feeding them what expectations 6, 9, 12 months ago when things were a little different about, oh yeah, you go lease this new space and we can backfill your space like nobody's business. Now that it's happened over the course of 6 months.
And you might even make money at it.
Right. And now it's like we're moved in and now we're ready to sublease. And it's like, well, you're not going to get the premium you have on it. I think a lot, I think so. I've seen some subleases where you probably need, like you said, 75 cents, maybe even 50 cents on the dollar.
And again, I'll remind you guys, and you don't debate this, but I've seen a lot more cycles. And it has always been that subleases were generally a red flag that there was a bargain opportunity there.
Yeah.
Right.
You were putting up with, a second-tier relationship. You weren't dealing with a primary landlord.
Right.
The sub-landlord or tenant that you're going to lease from generally doesn't want to put money into it. They just want to get out of it. And they're paying 100% on the dollar right now.
Right.
So everything they can get out of you is a savings. So they generally cut and run as quickly as they could.
Right.
We went through, the outlier really was this last year, where market rates were going up so aggressively and so fast in the last 18 months to a year that a rising tide lifts all ships. And so with all the new construction prices going up and the new rates for buildings, warehouse buildings going from high mid $4 a foot to high $5, low $6 a foot, the second generation space went up as well, and the subleases were going up.
Well, the subleases went up, and really the only benefit to the sublease that in the last 12 months was generally the term.
Yeah, you could get a shorter term.
Because it was such a landlord's market that
Right.
landlord could sit there and wait for a tenant for a 5-year commitment.
And it still is, but there's a little bit more balance as we're seeing into the market to where people aren't fighting over space. People, if they have a requirement, yes, they're still paying a premium to what they were paying a year ago for sure.
Right.
And they've come to grips with that if they need space.
And to your point, it doesn't just because there's more it's not every sublease means company XYZ is going under.
Right.
It does speak a little bit to the saturation of the market too. Yes. I mean, because there's
for sure
there's all these new opportunities, new builds with abatement and all that, and people are jumping ship and just eating that cost and baking it in. It's like, okay, if we can get anything for that, then great.
Right.
But let's go to this new awesome spot.
The fact that construction's been down is a huge good or
the starts
plus this year.
The starts have been down, and that's a plus. But there's still new space getting dumped into the market.
Right.
But even with that, we're about a 325 million square foot market, and we still have gone from a 3.5 to maybe a 4.5, 4 3/4 vacancy.
And if you think about it, if you remove the couple million square footers that are sitting out there empty because they kind of are their own market in a way. They're they're one or two tenants. They're not really speaking to the rest of the landlords. I think that it's still even incredibly low. I don't have the number in front.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? So
Agreed.
I'm just agreeing with you. You know what I mean?
But the other thing we're hearing out there is in the large box, big box market, the demand, the users have gotten pretty quiet.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, this is always, this is December 8th, Grammy's birthday, by the way, today, boys.
Oh, yes.
But December is, always traditionally a pretty slow period for users who, unless they're cranking, trying to get something done by year end, they don't want to generally think about it or talk about it until next year.
Yeah.
For sure.
That makes sense.
Yep. No, and I don't know. I think next year I still feel optimistic, and pretty strong about things. I think we have I feel like I've said it 100 times the last couple months, but I feel great about our long-term pipeline and a lot of the balls we have kind of in the air and on different projects and with different prospects and clients. But at the same time, 2024 I think is going to be another kind of, from a transaction volume standpoint, just a little bit like 23, where it feels a little quieter, but I think it's still a healthy year. So,
Okay. Kurt, if you were filling out your brackets right now, would you have Missouri basketball in the Final Four?
Be a little
yes,
rich.
probably.
Okay. Hey, so I'm just pointing out your brother likes to be optimistic.
Yes.
Now, I hope you're right. I still think there's significant tailwind for the industrial market. I really do. There is still home shoring, reshoring. There is still the e-commerce world is a more cost-effective way to get product to people, and people are more and more accepting of it. So I do think there's going to continue to be life. We're very fortunate to be in the industrial sector. The office and the retail have been very difficult for the last couple of years, I think retail's bounced back some, but even traditional retail has changed. It's much more of experiential and restaurant than it is just pure retail. But so I think 24 there's going to be opportunities out there.
Yeah, but it being the fact that it's an election year too, that a lot of major corporations will probably punt major decisions to 2025.
But a lot might. But there's also people who still have leases coming due.
Yeah, have to make a decision.
And you're right, you got it. Yeah, certainly.
And there's still, and to your point, there's still opportunity out there. I mean, I was talking to a client yesterday of mine that owns, a building here. Or they own a few facilities around the region, and they're talking about how they're getting ready because they think there's going to be a lot of opportunity too, and that sometimes the darkest times are the best times to be out spending. So you still have a lot of that, and when you find that kind of opportunity, I think that's how you can also beat cycles and then be the kind of the cream of the crop when a new cycle is starting over. So
and there might be some folks who business dries up and they can't afford their building; they have to sell it.
right.
I mean, opportunities come in all different
different ways.
different
yeah.
looks. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
about family plans? So you guys gonna have a third kid in 24?
That's probably not something you should answer
Oh, geez, yeah.
on air. Yeah.
We just got over our last double ear infection with the 6-month-old, so I think we're gonna just take it one day at a time. Yeah,
fair.
no.
How about you, Kurt? Any dates as of late that Team Jensen needs to know about?
Definitely not the Team Jensen needs to know about. No.
No shortage of putting himself out there, though.
2024 will be a good year. I'm
Yeah, it
excited
will
for
be.
it.
It will be.
We're going to Las Vegas. Never been there.
Kurt turns our MC here turns 30 next year in January, and the Jensen siblings. I'm the only one that's ever been to Las Vegas, so we are jumping on a plane and sharing hotel rooms and going to the Sphere. And
The Sphere is literally like half the reason I want to go.
we're gonna do a quick 48 hours in Vegas. Show.
Are you doing the U2 concert?
No, we're just doing the Sphere experience.
We didn't close enough deals in 2023.
The U2 tickets are like $800 a pop. It's
right?
like, geez, yeah.
It was a little much for you too, but
Well, it's not just the siblings; it's siblings and spouses.
siblings.
Yeah,
and,
so I'll be
yep.
seventh wheeling it, just out there living it up in Vegas.
We're gonna find some Vegas girl for Kurt. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we need to worry about that. Listeners, I don't think you need to get the wrong idea with that one.
Fair enough.
His
fair
sister and sister-in-law will be along, so they'll keep an eye on him.
enough. Yeah, it'll be good.
And
it'll
Keely, too.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun. So yeah, that and the holidays, and maybe a little Colorado stint here. But
We had a nice time over Thanksgiving. We went out to
See your favorite son.
Napa to visit not my favorite son, my favorite son to work with.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. That was the question.
Charlie just out there turning water into wine.
Exactly. But
We just compared to Jesus.
But we had fun. We took my mother. The boys call her Grammy, and she's the one whose birthday is today. She's turning 88, and we took her up in a hot air balloon, and she was a gamer for everything that we did out there. It was a lot of fun. And St. Helena, where Charlie and Keely live, we had to laugh. We were over there in the downtown area for a Christmas tree lighting ceremony. And it was about 45 degrees, 50 degrees, and everybody was walking around in their puffy coats because it was so cold in California.
Yeah.
And we laughed and kind of looked at each other. It really did feel like we were in the middle of a Hallmark movie.
Yeah, like that little strip is like.
It was
all
just like
picturesque. His little families running around, and everything's perfect in California.
so.
Right. Didn't they have some fake snow too?
Oh yeah. They were blowing some bubbles that looked like snow.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But hey, that's all right. That's all right.
Well, it is. Well, it's funny though. It's kind of like it really is kind of a small town.
Oh, very much so.
Even though you wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, you
expect
think
it.
of Napa, but you don't. Yeah.
It's really much more of a small farm community.
Much
than-
more quaint.
Than it gets credit for because they sell a lot of bougie wine.
They do indeed. Good wine. And we do need to get your brother on a podcast. We could talk about wine and wine distribution. And
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be.
he might need to join us via Zoom or Teams, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
then we could do that too.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a pretty good one for the wrap.
That's
you
a
know,
wrap.
for 2020.
Yeah, it's been a fun year. Yeah, no doubt. I can't believe we got 12 episodes almost.
I
in,
know.
Like a 6-month time span. That's
I only have
awesome.
988 to go.
Well,
Just another 10 years. Evan, we'll book you in 2032.
yeah, we want you here early, damn it. Yeah. But no, 23 has been a good year. I'm blessed. I hear it time and time again when I talk to people that I'm blessed to get to work with two of my sons, and I agree with that. I love you guys, and I look forward to working with you for many more years and us having many successes together.
Yeah,
Love you too. Likewise. Yeah.
absolutely.
And just to final wrap it up, thank you to all of our listeners and everyone supporting us. Treasure Advertising, thank you
all
for
6 of you,
all 6 of our
followers
listeners out there.
And all of
But
our-
seriously,
all of our guests.
we appreciate all the support and all of our clients out there. That whether you want to come on the show or not, just thanks for working with us, and we really enjoy it. And thanks to everyone here at Kessinger Hunter for another great year, and looking forward to another great year in 2024.
Everybody have a good holiday.
Yep.